Okay, on this graph we're going to find the equation of this sinusoid, and so we're going to find out different pieces of it. The first thing we're going to do is mark the baseline. It goes through the middle. It's the line that it's oscillating about, and that's going to be at y equals 0, so there's not a vertical shift. The next thing I'm going to do is determine the amplitude, and I see from the baseline I go as high and as low as 3 away, and so the amplitude is going to be 3. Now I am going to look, there is a phase shift here, and I'm going to decide if I want to use a sine function or a cosine function, and I see that this is pretty close to, if the maximum was right there, that would be perfect for a cosine function without a phase shift. So then if I just moved it to the right by, it looks like 1/2, then I would have the phase shift. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a cosine function. So I'm going to have y equal, and I'm going to put 3 because that was the amplitude, and then it's going to be cosine. Now right here I need to figure out the period, and I know there's nothing added on the end because there was not a vertical shift. So what is the period? And if I look, I can look at, maybe I'll just look from maximum to maximum here, and I'm going to see how far apart those are. So it looks like that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units apart. There's no pi on those, and so the period equals 6. So if I had 2 pi over omega, I'm going to get 6. So we know that omega's got to have a pi in it, and it's also got to have a number so that when I combine those I get 6. So that's going to be pi thirds x. And again, if you don't see that in your head, it's easy to solve. Multiply the omega here and then divide the 6. So 2 pi divided by 6 equals omega, and that reduces to pi thirds. Now we said that the shift was 1/2. I'm going to call that PS for phase shift. The phase shift was 1/2. Now if I just put minus a half here, that's not going to work unless I put it in parentheses and I have it minus 1/2 like this. So that's one way I could leave it, so the phase shift was 1/2. If I needed to express it without any parentheses, I could distribute that through, and it's going to be pi thirds x minus pi sixths. And we could just run a quick check on that, because if I set this equal to 0 and solve it, I should get that phase shift of 1/2, and you can see indeed I do, because I have pi thirds x minus pi sixths equals 0. So pi thirds x equals pi sixths, and dividing by pi thirds is like multiplying by the reciprocal. So let's do that over here. You can see the pi's cancel, and I'm left with 3/6, which is 1/2. So here is the equation of the graph shown.